Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about an unfortunate incident that happened in one of the hospitals, a fire accident, and a few infants have been killed. And this editorial talks about the fire accident, the particular incident in a particular hospital. It also talks about, in the recent past, series of fire accidents, the reasons behind, and the impact of these fire accidents. It is very unfortunate in the sense hospital is a place where you go for safety, but people get killed over there. It is a paradoxical situation. Then it talks about any problem. Obviously, the editorial has to talk about the solution. The second part of the editorial talks about the solution. What is the reason for all these fire accidents? What could be the reasons? The editorial says one of the reasons infrastructure, electrical infrastructure, they could not expand. They could expand to meet the demand based on COVID 19, but they could not expand the electrical infrastructure. Because of that, these fire accidents. And at the fag end of the editorial, it talks about the solution. And today you're going to work on when it comes to practice questions based on exam topics. You're going to work on errors, fillers, spellings, parajumble, idioms, and editorial words as usual. Before we go to the editorial, let us have a look at the words and to what extent they are important, how many of them go with effective English. There is one word catering. Usually the word catering, it goes with food industry, cater to the needs. Cater means to serve the food and drinks. But here, cater also means to provide all the things that they need or want. You provide someone something they need or they want, then cater to the needs of a particular group. Cater is a verb, catering is a noun. Betrayal, this is a noun. The verb is betray. That's an important word. Betray means to be not loyal to your country or to someone. Someone trusts you, but you're not loyal. Then we use the word betray, betrayal. And also, everyday English, we say backstabbing. Havens, an important word. It's a noun. Haven, singular, havens, plural. A place of safety or refuge. In this context, hospital is a safe haven. And but unfortunately, the editorial says they're turning into killing fields. Vulnerable, we have got many a time exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, to be in a weak situation so that someone can harm you, or someone can attack you, or someone can exploit you. Apathy, noun, an important word, lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. No emotions, also, you can say. For that, there are two words. One is callous, the other one is stony. Breakout is a phrasal verb, an important phrasal verb. And do remember, with the verb break, we have about 7 to 8 important phrasal verbs like break in, break into, break out, break away, break up. All these. Breakout means to begin or start suddenly. It goes with fire, it goes with war, it goes with clashes, it goes with diseases. Deadly, causing or able to cause death. Something causes death, then we say deadly. Forensic, use of scientific techniques to solve crimes. Forensic science, it goes with crime. And in this context, it goes with how a particular accident, fire accident, happened, who is responsible, and what are the possible factors. Scarcely an important word from grammar point of view. We have got many a time combinations. When we use no sooner, we have to use than. When we use words like hardly, scarcely, and barely, we have to use the word when. And also, you have to remember the clause should be in interrogative form. Means what? Only just, almost not. Hardly, scarcely, barely means only just, almost not. It has a negative connotation. Marshal as a verb, a different meaning altogether. To bring together or organize people or things. You bring together people or things or organize people or things. Marshal, that's an important word. Herculean task. This is an idiomatic expression, means what? Requiring great strength or effort. A particular task is very difficult to do. Then we say it is a Herculean task. We also say an uphill task, another important idiom. Norm, something that is usual, typical, or standard. It is a norm over there. Hospital norms means hospital standards. Overdrive, someone has gone overdrive, something has gone overdrive. A state of great or excessive activity, taking something beyond the limit, then we say overdrive. In this context, hospitals they had to take a lot of patients and they went overdrive. In that process, something negative happened. Flammable, flammable, inflammable both mean the same. Easily set on fire, easily something catches fire immediately, then we use flammable or inflammable, both mean the same. Spark, I'm sure you all know the word spark. Spark has got many meanings. In this context, a small fiery particle thrown off from a fire. There's a fire, from the fire a small fiery particle comes out. For that we use the word spark. Mandate, from this you get the word mandatory, an important word. An official order or commission to do something. Mandate. Healing. The process of making or becoming sound or healthy again. Heal. Whenever there is a wound, after some time it gets healed. Also, a bad situation, someone has to heal. So, these are the words. Now, let us go to the editorial and see what exactly it is about and what is there to learn and whether it is important, not important from the exam point of view. That is the bottom line. How does it start? Death by hospital fire. Here, there is one important prepositional combination, death by. There's so many expressions, death by fire, death by drowning, death by strangulation, death by pelting, death by hanging. So do remember this particular prepositional combination. In this context, death by what? Hospital fire. As I said, this editorial is all about a particular fire accident in a particular hospital. Based on that, this editorial has been written. It's an important thing because hospital is a place where people go for safety. Whenever they are not in a good condition, they go to a hospital. But unfortunately, the same hospital turns into a killing field. That is a paradoxical situation and cannot be justified. And what is the main idea of this editorial? While catering to demand during COVID 19, hospitals must ensure operational fitness. This editorial talks about, based on this fire accident, the reason behind lack of operational fitness, and based on that, the editorial opines hospitals must ensure operational fitness. Very important. In this context, operational fitness is nothing but related to the infrastructure that goes with electrical aspects, electrical dimension. There are a few words I would like to tell the meaning. Already have said, but for reinforcement, cater. The word cater, catering industry, it goes with the food industry. But in this context and otherwise also, it has another meaning. What is the other meaning of the word cater? Cater means to provide someone with something they want or they need. In this context, cater to demand. While catering to demand during COVID 19, we all know what happened during the first phase, during the first wave, second wave. There was a lot of demand, and many hospitals had to go upside down to handle thousands, hundreds of patients. In that process, they wanted to take in a lot of patients. They wanted to cater to the demand because of COVID 19, but they could not focus on one particular dimension. And today, also, the same situation. That is the reason why this particular incident has happened. What is it? They did not ensure operational fitness. So, based on that, the editorial says while catering to demand during COVID 19, hospitals must ensure. Yesterday also we got this expression must ensure. Must is a helping verb that is used to express an obligation imposed by the speaker, whoever is speaking, or it is used to convey the idea that something is compulsory. So hospitals must ensure, make sure that operational fitness is there. If operational fitness, in this context, operation has two different meanings. One meaning, obviously, it goes with hospitals, operation theater, but in this context, operational fitness means executing the work, hospital administration, execution of work, and operations, execution of work. That's what it means. And operational fitness, an important expression you have to remember. Now, let us go to the editorial. How does it start? It starts with a particular unfortunate incident, but before that, it makes a general statement. What is that? There is no greater betrayal than when what people believe to be safe havens turn into killing fields. There are two words over here. One is betrayal. This comes from betray. Betray, a verb, betrayal, noun. Betray means what? To be not loyal to your country or to someone. So here, what is a betrayal in this context? Hospital. Hospitals are supposed to be, and people believe they are safe havens. Another important word, haven, means what? A place of safety or refuge. You believe hospital is a safe haven. You go to the hospital, but unfortunately, that hospital turns into a killing field. That is nothing but betrayal. So this is a general statement. There is no greater betrayal. This is, in the opinion of the editorial, there is no greater betrayal than when what people believe to be safe havens turn into killing fields. This is a general statement. Now the editor goes into a specific incident, a fire accident. The large number of hospital fires being reported in the last couple of years in the country, taking victims at their most vulnerable, could well be a case of criminal negligence and apathy. This also talks about the general prevailing situation in our country. What is a prevailing situation? The large number of hospital fires being reported now, in the recent past, a large number of hospital fires they have been reported, and it talks about that particular situation. The large number of hospital fires being reported in the last couple of years in the country, especially 2019 to 2020, and the recent incident, taking victims at their most vulnerable. This is an important expression. When someone goes to a particular hospital, why does he go? He is not in a healthy situation. He doesn't have, he has perhaps health issues and is not fit. And that is like a vulnerable situation, the most vulnerable. That is the reason why we go to a particular hospital. So this talks about the large number of hospital fires being reported in the last couple of years in the country, taking victims at the most vulnerable, could well be a case of criminal negligence and apathy. There are two words over here. One is vulnerable, exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, or being exploited, and apathy, an important word, lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. In this context, we have to focus on the word concern, lack of concern. So this is again the opinion of the editorial. Editorial opines the the reports that a lot of fire accidents, last couple of years, and it shows that it is nothing but a case of negligence. And there's one important expression, criminal negligence, not at all acceptable, and also a case of apathy. And there are two words based on this you have to recollect. One is callous. Callous means no emotion. Someone is suffering, you are not bothered, callous attitude. And also stony nature. Stony goes with everyday English, callous goes with effective English. Now he talks about the recent incident. The first two sentences go with general statements. First one is a very general statement about hospitals being safe havens and unfortunately turning into killing fields. That's a paradoxical situation. It is nothing but betrayal. And the second sentence, a lengthy sentence, talks about the recent fire accidents, and it reflects, it shows that it is nothing but, it comes under a case of criminal negligence and apathy. Now, what is a specific incident which triggered this particular editorial? At least four infants are reported to have died in Monday's fire in the special newborn care unit of Kamala Nehru Children's Hospital in Bhopal. So, this talks about the incident. At least four infants, very unfortunate, are reported to have died in Monday's fire in the special newborn care unit of Kamala Nehru Children's Hospital in Bhopal. Usually, writers, what they try to do, they make a statement and they try to substantiate, they try to justify. In this context, the statement, hospitals are supposed to be safe havens, but they're turned into killing fields. To substantiate that statement, the editorial has provided the recent incident and also series of fire accidents. It talks about that. Early November, 11 patients died in a fire that broke out at the COVID 19 ward in Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. One more incident. In March this year, and there's one important phrasal verb, break out, past broke out, to start suddenly. Usually it goes with the fire, war, clashes, diseases, and also volcanic eruptions. One more fire incident in March this year, 10 people were killed in a fire that broke out in Sunrise Hospital, Mumbai. Different places across the country. There are only the latest, these are only the latest in a series of hospital fires that have, as per some estimates, led to the deaths of over 120 people, most of them COVID 19 patients. So far, how many people have died because of fire accidents in different hospitals across the country? 120 people, and most of these people or the persons who died, unfortunately, COVID 19 patients. And these COVID 19 patients, obviously, they must have gone to these hospitals thinking that these hospitals are safe havens, but they turned out to be killing fields, very unfortunate. Several minor, again, when it comes to fire accidents, we can talk in terms of editorial talks in terms of minor fire accident, major fire accident, the impact of these fire accidents. Several minor and major fires have been started in hospitals, have been started, present perfect passive voice. The former, an important word, means the first one, minor. The former causing damage to property and anxiety for patients and their loved ones, an important expression, while the latter, former first in position, latter second in position, proved to be deadly for patients but also for some hospital staff. So it talks about minor fire incidents and major fire incidents, the impact of these minor loss to property and anxiety to patients and their relatives, but major loss of lives, not only the patients in some cases, but also the hospital staff. In most of these cases, as I said, any editorial, when it presents a particular problem, it analyzes the problem and tries to provide the solution. Now it comes to the reasons behind. In most of these cases, hospital staff also had to see to the immediate shifting of patients to other safer units. That's the reason, one of the reasons perhaps why hospital staff they had to die, because they had to shift the patients in that process. Imagine the fire engulfed the entire area, then obviously they also get affected. The link that has been made out between rising hospital fires and the burden of COVID 19 cases is not artificial. This talks about the reason behind, what is the reason behind a particular opinion. It says there is a link between rising hospital fires and the burden of COVID 19 cases. And the editorial says it is not something artificial, it is something one has to consider. That means there is a link between the rising hospital fires and the burden of COVID 19 cases. This is not artificial, it has to be considered. Hospital administrators and forensic analysis, important word, plural form, have laid the cause. What is the reason? What is the cause for the historically high number of cases that hospitals have had to deal with? The reason is historically high number of cases that hospitals have had to deal with, present perfect, an important expression. In the past, these many cases were not there. But because of COVID 19, there was a mad rush. And you all know, first wave, the impact of COVID 19, second wave, the impact of COVID 19. And so many cases they never experienced. And because of that, they could not handle, they focused on other areas like expansion of manpower, doctors, or the helpers, and also gathering or collecting mattresses, all these. But they did not get enough time to focus on the electrical infrastructure. With the number of cases rising in the first and second waves of the pandemic, demand far exceeded capacity. This is the problem, the root cause. Demand was more, capacity was not there. Demand far exceeded capacity. Hospitals tried to substantiate that statement, hospitals tried to expand their facilities to accommodate as many patients as possible because they have to do it. The situation was like that, they had to. Hospitals tried to expand their facilities to accommodate as many patients as possible, while there was scarcely any time for infrastructure expansion. There are two dimensions over here. When a particular hospital has to take a lot of patients, they have to focus on the infrastructure. One thing, infrastructure goes with the hospital equipment, it goes with the electrical infrastructure, it also goes with certain other areas. The other dimension, it goes with the manpower and also certain things like mattresses, all those things. So here, there was scarcely any time, hardly any time, barely any time for infrastructure expansion. While beds, but certain things they could do. While beds and mattresses could be marshaled at short notice, and oxygen cylinders sometimes with Herculean effort, hospitals could not add extra power lines. This was the problem. They could not add extra power lines or distribute the load with additional transformers or power units. They could marshal. There's a few important expressions over here. Marshal means what? To bring together or organize people or things. And Herculean effort, something that involves great strength. And there is another idiomatic expression, an uphill task. So, with while beds and mattresses could be marshaled at short notice, they could do that. And oxygen cylinders, they could do that also. But sometimes with Herculean effort, hospitals could not add extra power lines, one problem, or distribute the load with additional transformers or power units. They could not, perhaps they did not have enough time, they could not do that. Ventilators were also pushed into use 24 by 7. Certainly not the norm before COVID 19. Norm, one important word, the regular practice, a typical practice, or a standard. So before COVID 19, ventilators were not pushed into use 24 by 7. But because of the impact of COVID 19, a lot of patients getting admitted, ventilators were also pushed into use 24 by 7. Certainly not the norm before COVID 19. And with high power requirement for this, definitely more power required, it naturally pressed existing infrastructure into overdrive. An important word over here. Overdrive, a state of great or excessive activity. They could not expand the existing infrastructure, and that resulted in overdrive. Single air conditioner units were also operating full time. Now, what is the impact of this? These resulted in electrical short circuits and possibly aided, helped by the presence of flammable substances, alcohol based sanitizers, high oxygen and PPE kits. Sparks grew into full scale fires. The reason, actual reason, these resulted in electrical short circuits and possibly aided by the presence of flammable substances. Flammable means what? Easily set on fire. Flammable, inflammable, both mean the same. And also alcohol based sanitizers, they all catch fire within no time. High oxygen and PPE kits, sparks grew into full scale fires. Spark is nothing but a small fiery particle thrown off from a fire, but these sparks grew into full scale fires like inferno. It is essential for hospitals. Now it talks about the solution. It is essential for hospitals that pulled more than their share of the weight. They took the patients beyond the capacity, beyond the infrastructure capacity or manpower capacity. It is essential for hospitals that pulled more than their share of the weight during COVID 19 to not only do fire safety audits, but also electrical audits. Now, what is important here in the present scenario, they have to do safety audits and electrical audits to ensure operational fitness. The main idea, the reason for writing this particular editorial, hospitals have to focus on operational fitness and specifically to ensure there are no fires. Fires not acceptable at when it comes to hospitals. States, now what is the role of the state government? The editorial ends on a particular note. States may mandate, an important word, an official order or commission to do something. From this, you have to recollect the word mandatory means what? Something that is compulsory. States may mandate it or incentivize such a procedure, give incentives in order to draw it up the priority list. In the priority list, this has to go to the top of smaller and medium sized hospitals. Usually these problems, they occur, they happen when it comes to smaller and medium sized hospitals, and they need obviously incentives. So states may mandate one thing or incentivize such a procedure in order to draw it up the priority list of smaller and medium sized hospitals. How does it end? Hospitals, after all, must remain healing zones. Hospital is a safe haven and they must remain healing zones. Heal means what? The process of making or becoming healthy again. And to ensure that fire accidents are avoided must be a non-negotiable requirement. There is no dialogue, there is no negotiation. They have to avoid fire accidents, and it must be a non-negotiable requirement. It must be a requirement. And when it comes to this fire safety requirement and infrastructure, there is no compromise, and no, it is something like non-negotiable requirement. An important editorial, because this has been going on and off. Definitely, you may get this as a passage either in prelims or mains. They may not ask you to write in a descriptive paper, but you may get a passage either in prelims or mains. When it comes to, they may not ask directly, they may ask, they may give a passage related to fire accidents in hospitals, and also when it comes to uh, this infrastructure, hospital infrastructure, the focus, they may give a passage related to that. Now, let us see grammar point of view, exam point of view, what are the important phrases, idioms, prepositional combinations. As I said, this is an important death by something, death by drowning, death by fire, death by stoning, death by pelting, death by hanging. Cater to, the verb cater or the noun form catering to. Catering, industry, it could be an adjective, takes a preposition to. Must ensure, we have got this yesterday, we got this yesterday, we have got this today. The government must ensure, make sure of something. Safe havens. I'm giving the combinations as well. Usually students ask, "Sir, how do we know these combinations, collocations?" I tell the students, when it comes to fillers, when it comes to words, meanings of words from the passage, when it comes to cloze test, knowledge related to word combinations or collocations, very important. And how do you get that contextual awareness of the combinations or the collocations? You have to read a lot, you have to expose yourself to the language. But here I have isolated, I'm presenting all those important combinations and expressions. And if you spend some time and try to memorize, definitely that helps in the long run. Turn into, safe havens turning into killing fields, turn into, change into. Last couple of years, this is an important phrase. And criminal negligence, negligence not at all acceptable, something that goes beyond acceptable level, that something that cannot be justified, then we use the expression criminal negligence. Breakout is a phrasal verb. And if you're a smart student, what are you supposed to do? Thank you very much, Pritham. You have to, I have brought, editorial has used one particular phrasal verb, breakout. If you are really a smart student, I always tell you have to look beyond. Then you have to ask yourself, what are the important phrasal verbs that go with the verb break? So break, you have to think of break in, break into, break out, break away, break up, and you have to brush up the basics. Thank you very much. So series of fires, series of incidents, series of matches, series of something, an important phrase. As per some estimates, again, a written English, according to someone, as per some estimates, as per some studies, as per some records. Remember that expression. Former, latter, important words. Former means first in position, and latter means second in position. Here you should not get confused. There's another word, later. This talks about the position, and this talks about the time. He has come later than I expected, time. But latter, latter, position. And these two are very important because many a time in different competitive exams, they've given questions related to these two words. They come under confusing words. Whenever you attend the session, you read the editorial, if you come across something that is really important from the exam point of view, you've got to spend a few seconds or a few minutes and make sure you consolidate, and they're part of your personality or they become your second nature, and make sure they're always at your fingertips. Their loved ones, your loved ones, my loved ones, their loved ones, an important expression, and proved to be. Another important expression. It proved to be good. It proved to be dangerous. It proved to be detrimental. An important expression. Make out. British English, make out. American English, they don't use this. They use a phrasal verb. Figure out means understand. Laid the cause. We have got many a time. Lie one verb, lie, lay, lain, irregular form. We have another verb, lay, laid, laid. These are always confusing for many students. You got to spend a lot of time and make sure you know the difference. Lay means what? Lie means it has two different meanings as an irregular form. To be in a horizontal position while relaxing, one meaning, and another meaning to be in a particular state for a long time. And lay, laid, laid, to put something down. So laid the cause, that means they have pointed out this is a cause. The number, we have got many a time questions based on the number, the phrase the number, the phrase a number. What is the difference between these two? The number takes, let me complete. The number takes a singular verb, a number takes a plural verb. Hardly, scarcely, barely. Here you have to recollect the combination hardly, barely, scarcely. They take the word when. And if you take no sooner, takes a word than. This combination you can't afford to forget. At short notice, another important phrase. Herculean effort, usually we use Herculean task, both mean the same. An uphill task, very difficult to manage. Press into, pushed into. This is also an important. They have been pressed into, something has been pressed into, means pushed into. Flammable substances, inflammable substances. In order to, purpose. To express the purpose we use in order to. He has enrolled in order to achieve success. Healing zones, an important combination. So try to spend time. These are very important because this particular slide, in my opinion, besides the words, the previous slide, if you work on vocabulary, all the words from the editorial, that particular slide, and this slide, more than enough, you will gain a lot in the long run that helps. Now, what are the questions you can think of when it comes to this particular editorial? What is this editorial about? You can write in a nutshell, that should not be a problem. What could well be a case of criminal negligence and apathy? The key words. Obviously, hospitals are safe havens. They are turning into killing fields. Definitely not focusing on the infrastructure, essential or indispensable infrastructure. Obviously, it comes under case of criminal negligence and apathy. What proved to be deadly for patients, but also for some hospital staff? Major fire accidents, minor fire accidents. So definitely you can write, you have to navigate. What is not artificial in the context of the editorial? A question like this, you got to be a little careful. You have to read meticulously. In the context of the editorial, then you have to navigate, locate, and write. But the key word, what is not artificial? What resulted in electrical short circuits, overdrive? You can easily write about that. The reason behind the fire accidents, the reason behind electrical short circuits. Now let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. It is your time, but before we do that, analysis. Today you're going to work on 5 questions based on error location, very important. A few are easy, a few are difficult, and fillers based on phrasal verbs, a little challenging. Misspelled words, not that easy. And also para jumble, a little, to some extent, challenging. Idioms, one or two difficult, they made trouble, but other idioms are rather easy. Now, have a look at the first sentence, try to read and try to spot the error. It does not look like a sentence, it looks like a paragraph, obviously. Read meticulously, that is very important whenever you come across a lengthy sentence. Ballpark figure. Madhav, what does it mean? No one has answered question number one. More than 20 seconds. Satish, how to join the Telegram? After the session, you go to the description of the video. There you find a link. Just click on the link. After that, you don't have to do anything. Now I see your responses. Those who have responded, all of them say B. What is wrong with B? The victories mark a significant step forward for a diverse community that has been historically low representation in political offices. Nothing wrong with B. Why do you think there is a problem when it comes to the second part? The victories mark a significant step forward for a diverse community that has seen, community singular, that has seen historically low representation in political offices. Nothing wrong with B. Very good. Who is this? Pranita has got it right. And in the last 2 years has borne the brunt. This is not correct. There is one particular idiomatic expression. What is it? Bear the brunt. What does it mean, bear the brunt? To take the maximum negative impact, to experience the maximum negative impact, bear the brunt. He has to bear the brunt. I had to bear the brunt. And here the past participle, it is a bear, bore, and born. They had to carry. It is not born, it should be borne. They had to. Has borne the brunt of a rising tide of pandemic driven anti Asian sentiments. I really appreciate that student. After that, I see Sai Arvind also. Not easy. This is also a lengthy sentence, looks like a paragraph, not a sentence. So you got to read meticulously. Truck drivers have been in short supply for years, but a wave of retirements combined with those simply quitting for less stressful jobs are exacerbating, an important word, make something worse. Bad to worse, we use the word exacerbate. Waterborne diseases, airborne diseases, yes, Satish Shankar. Another combination, waterborne and also airborne diseases. Today, if you take COVID-19, coronavirus, it is airborne. No one has responded. Question number two. Perhaps you guys are busy reading the sentence. How come? Panicking. Where is it? No, nothing wrong with this. Panicked holiday shoppers and congestion at sports. Nothing wrong. This is an easy one. Here, very good. Who is this? Sai Arvind. Truck drivers have been in short supply for years. Nothing wrong. But a wave of retirements combined with those simply quitting for less stressful jobs. Wave is exacerbating, not are. Wave is singular. Then you cannot use a wave is. A wave is exacerbating. There is an error, obviously. I have been telling you guys, whenever you come across a lengthy sentence, it is not easy. Under pressure, very difficult. What are you supposed to do? What is the solution? You have to know for sure what the subject is, what the verb is, what the object is. Besides, you should also know the writers, when they want to expand the sentences, they try to add phrases and clauses to the subject, phrases and clauses to the object. Here, a wave in this for this particular clause, a wave of retirements, all these words are phrase. Don't consider the phrases. Wave is. So, what is this question about? Subject verb agreement. Obviously, I thought you would be able to get it, but I'm really surprised. No problem. Sometimes it happens. One of the reasons could be lengthy sentence. Even this is a lengthy sentence. That is over. Borne the brunt of. One is over, two is over. Now we are doing the third one, Madhav. What is the third one? The BJP said the Indian National Congress should be renamed I Need Commission and alleged that the failed negotiations for the aircrafts when the Congress was in power was because of the latter's, see again, dissatisfaction with the cut. Very good. I appreciate this. Aircraft, not correct. There are some nouns, always singular or plural, same form. It is one of the examples. Aircraft, aircraft, spacecraft, sheep, deer, salmon, trout, cod, offspring. All these you have to recollect. That is being smart. So, what are the important examples based on that rule? To the maximum extent, Madhav. To be at the receiving end, to the maximum extent. Please go to question number 4. Question number 3, many students have got it right. That is highly appreciable. Question number 4, frequency of these early morning operations is likely to be between 10-15 minutes to begin, and depending on the public patronage, the frequency of the trains will be increased gradually. Yes, aircraft, spacecraft, sheep, deer, salmon, trout, cod, offspring. Some more are there. So, what is the answer? Question number 4. No one has responded. Question number 4. No, no. Frequency, that is a subject. Of these early morning operations, frequency is nothing wrong. Perfect. Likely to be between 10-15 minutes to begin. There is an error here. This is a tough one. To begin, then it is not correct. To begin with, to begin with, we have to use a preposition with to begin with, but you don't see the word with. That is the error. There is an error in the second part, and this is not easy to begin with. Under pressure, very difficult to think of the word with to begin with. To begin with, it's not a good idea. To begin with, it is not something. Question number 5. This should not be a problem. Yes, to begin with, a standard expression. That's the reason why I say when you read the editorial, you get exposed to all the standard expressions. Same. That is a question of the day. Who is this Shankar? Next one is rather easy, should not be a problem. Here, Greater Hyderabad Heritage and Precincts Committee has, during its first meeting, no, it is committee. Committee has nothing wrong. Has, during its first meeting on Tuesday, has resolves or has resolved. What will you say? No, nothing wrong with has. It is in present perfect tense. We have to use a verb in past participle form. Based on that, has resolved is not correct. Has resolved. Has resolved. No, no. Greater Hyderabad Heritage and Precincts Committee. Committee is singular, collective noun. We have to use a singular verb. Nothing wrong with has. Resolves is not correct. It should be resolved. Who has got all the 5 correct? Error location today. 3. Fine. 1 or 2 a bit difficult, but 3 should be. That is expected. Now you have 4 words A, B, C, D. They may be correct, they may be wrong, either misspelt or inappropriate. You have to look at the 4 words, you don't have to read the sentence. Just find out whether any word either misspelt or inappropriate. 4 is good because 2 questions difficult. Please go to misspelt or inappropriate words. Where is it? S. Raghu. During its first meeting on Tuesday has resolved. That's a very good question. Here, who is this Raghu? I appreciate that. But that is a sentence I have brought from the newspaper, the Hindu paper, yesterday's paper. They should have used resolved, not has resolved. They should have used only resolved. I appreciate that. We do come across errors when it comes to the Hindu paper as well. So here, very good, you guys got it. It is not, it's a common error. The correct spelling Giant. It is not Gai. That's a common error. I think you guys got it. Please go to the next one. Ominous, asylum, masked, barbed. Which word is misspelt or inappropriate? No one has responded. Question number two. Very good. Here we should not use what is the spelling of ominous? Ominous. Something bad, something unpleasant. Very good. You guys got it right. Please go to the next one. Question number three. In a separate letter to Chief Secretary, Madhya Pradesh, Iqbal Singh Bains, the panel has demanded details of the last no objection certificate. Yes, this has been given many a time different competitive exams. The reason being it goes with common errors. What is the correct spelling of the word separate? Separate, separate. Do remember. No, no, the word separate is not correct. It is not PE, it is PA. Go to the fourth one. No, only one error, not two. Their social bases complement each other. They don't have too dissimilar an ideological outlook and have displayed a large degree of consonance in terms of campaign issues. Very good, Sai Arvind. Here, it is not double N, it is single N, Consonance. Consonance means agreement, to agree. No, no, compliment, nothing wrong with that. Consonants, not double N, single N. The nondescript, limelight, prestigious, and bagged. So, which word is either misspelt or inappropriate? No one has gone to the fifth one. Consonance means agreement. All correct. Very good. Please go to the last one. Oh, you mean to say question number five, all correct? No. There is an error. Yes, of course. Here it is not correct. It is non DESCRIPT, not DI, nondescript, not to be very prominent, no outstanding features. It is not DI, it is DE. Now, these fillers are a little difficult, one or two at least. You got to read very carefully. Grammar knowledge, contextual awareness, both play a role. Shortly after returning from the climate conference in Scotland, Mr. Modi led a meeting focused on parts of the country where then half the residents are fully vaccinated. 4, I can make out. 4 is good, pretty good. That's good. Please go to fillers, a little challenging. We are running out of time. We have to do quickly. Yes, here, than means comparison and residence countable noun. You cannot use few. Less goes with uncountable nouns. Answer is fewer. That's an important one. And you guys got it right. The leadership has its eyes on the matter already and is in the process of weighing options, keeping mind, a standard expression. So, what is a preposition? No, less and lesser. Less goes with uncountable nouns, quantity. Here, residents, countable. We have to use few, fewer comparative form. What is the answer? The second one. I have another session at 8:15. We have to rush. In mind, keep in mind means what? Remember. Keep in mind, always keep in mind something means what? Always remember. Bear in mind, keep in mind, do remember. They all mean the same. Please go to the third one. Construction of proposed foot-over bridges at a few locations on the city roads has been put hold, easy to make out. Third one, put on hold. Yes, put on hold. That is correct. Put on hold. Put on hold means not to implement. The accused allegedly nursed a grudge against the woman for turning marriage proposal, and killed her while she was alone at home. Turn up, turn down, turn off. So you have to choose the correct preposition. All many of these are based on phrasal verbs. What is the answer? Fourth one. Yes, very good. Turn down means refuse. Turn down. Turn down means what? Refuse. Go to the next one. Since there is no traffic signal at the junction now, vehicles gaining tremendous speeds threaten the pedestrians who are forced to wait to 15 minutes to half an hour merely to cross the road. What is the answer? Lag is more than 20 seconds. Very good. Wait up to. That is correct. Not wait till 2. Wait until 2. Unless 2. Not at all relevant. No, 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 no. You have to consider the preposition wait up to 15 minutes. Up to. Oh, we have the para jumble. It's already 7:54. We still have idioms and editorial words. Please try to look at the para jumble and respond quickly. 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5. Good, good enough. Please go to the para jumble. Till 8, no problem. We still have 5 minutes. Pritham. 8, 5 past 8, I can extend 5 minutes. So, what is the first sentence this para jumble? It is not C. No, no, not C. Prasad has got it. D is the first one. In the 20 months, but EF is not correct. In the 20 months since the COVID-19 pandemic began, technological innovations have gone from futuristic to familiar. D is the first one. And based on that, these days it is hard to be out in the world without encountering QR coded menus or supplying digital vaccine passports. Second one is B. These two, one pair. No, no, D, B, one pair. Based on this technological innovations, to justify that, the this sentence B. After that, C is the next one. As a tourism industry which logged a billion fewer international arrivals in 2020 than 2019 sputters back to life, masks may begin to disappear, but many pandemic era tech tools will continue to factor into your trips. Tourism industry, trips, related. So CF, one pair. After that, you have consumers will come to expect technologies that make them more confident about travel, says Steve Scher, the president of the Travel Technology Association. A is the next one. Some of these changes are here to stay. That is the last one. So, what is the correct order? DB one pair, CF one pair, AE one pair. Try to answer these idioms. We cannot depend on him for this assignment as it needs careful handling, and he is like a bull in a china shop. Bull in a china shop is an idiom. What does it mean? Tricky one. But there are clues. Here, technological innovations based on that, this, and after that, tourism industry trips, one pair, and someone's statement, and you are left with some of these changes are here to stay. One, a clumsy person. No, no, answer is a bull in a china shop. A clumsy person does not know how to handle. Pass the buck. What is the meaning of pass the buck? Bull in a china shop means clumsy person. He drops things, he cannot handle things. Go to the next one. Pass the buck means what? Exchange? No. Refuse to accept responsibility. Answer is the second option. Refuse to accept the responsibility. He has passed on the buck to his colleague. He has passed on the buck to his. No, 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 no. Escape responsibility. Escape responsibility. You better learn to toe the line to avoid consequences. What does it mean? The third one. No one has responded. The third one. Follow the lead. Exactly. That is the answer. Very good. The policy has been declared to be null and void. An important one. Declare something null and void means what? They have given this many a time. Null and void means no one has responded. Fourth one. Invalid. Very good. That is answer. Answer is the third option. Communicative English is a Achilles heel for the job aspirants. There's a fact. So what does it mean? Achilles heel, source of strength, weak spot, what they cherish most, top priority. There's an important one. They have given SBI PO many a time. Achilles heel. Yes, weak spot. In a person's personality, there's a particular weak spot. We use Achilles heel. I'm really sorry, guys. Have another session. Have to rush. You can download. I'm going to provide the PDF. You please work on the last slide. Thanks for being with me till 8. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you. And do remember to subscribe and share and join the Telegram group. Go to the description of the video, click on the link. And after the session, I'll